2 jobs, 2 homeschool children, and 2 wives. Hi, wife.
Hey.
And I still managed to lose 45 pounds. That's about 20 kilo. So I'm a software engineer by trade, and people have asked me a lot, how did I manage to lose so much weight when I'm so busy? And that's what I want to say. So I have 2 young children. At the time I was working 2 jobs. I'm not working them anymore. They were full-time contracts. I didn't fully work the 40 hours, just so you know, because that's kind of impossible. But that's something that software engineers can do. And the funny part is that a lot of people, when they saw me and they saw I lost so much weight, the first thing they asked, they didn't really ask me, how am I doing? How are my children? How is my job? Because at the time I was talking to a lot of people, software developers. And the first thing they were like, wow, what the hell happened? How do you lose so much weight? And so I'm going to post a video of me on the scale somewhere here on the left or the right. And I'm currently at 66 kilo. That's 145 pounds. And for a male who is 170 centimeters, that's 5 feet 7 inch, something like that. I am in quite good shape. I consider myself in quite good shape, and I hesitated to make this video because you see online these people who are all shredded, they're huge, they're so muscular, they're so fit, or everything, and then I realized that that's not really what many of us busy parents or dads are looking for. Most of us just want to look good. We just want to lose some weight. I was quite overweight at that time. I didn't have much muscle. I'm a little bit more muscular now. Again, showing you that on the left or right here on the video. And I feel very happy how I look now. I look better than most 20 or 30-year-olds, I think. Even people who are non-parents, because most of my friends are not parents, because the birth rate in the countries I live is extremely low. So we spent time in Taiwan, and Taiwan has one of the lowest birth rates in the world. I think our capital, Taipei, is top 3 or top 1st this year. Yeah, we did it. So I want to tell you the 3 things I did that helped me the most to lose weight. The first thing I did is, drumroll, intermittent fasting. Okay, I'm a huge fan of fasting. I started with, 12 hours. Then I brought it up to 14, 16, 18, and at some point I was doing 20 hours a day. In fact, today I'm doing a long fast, and you can see in the photos that today I look pretty good. I feel pretty okay. I've fasted for 36 hours now, which is a day and a half. It's pretty okay, but that's not what I do usually. I usually fast for 18 to 20 hours every day. So I started fasting when my daughter was born. My friend told me, like, look, it's gonna be tough. It's my second kid. So he gave me this advice: you should get into fasting. Now it's gonna be difficult. I have 2 children. I didn't know how hard it would be. It was crazy. All right, my daughter was born in the middle of COVID, and it was a disaster. Okay, so I got this tip from a friend, just save some time cooking. You're gonna have to cook less, you're gonna have to prep less meals. And that really did a huge difference. So I got into fasting, but I didn't lose any weight while I was fasting. And this is a trap. This is the biggest trap that people get into when they fast. My friends ask me like, "Oh, I tried fasting. I lost some weight. It didn't work for me. I didn't like it. Blah blah." And the thing is that you will not lose weight just through fasting. Okay, you might lose some weight, or you might eat a little bit, but most of the years I fasted, I in fact gained weight. Because I wasn't exactly sure. I wasn't really changing anything in my diet. I was highly stressed. I was working like a madman. When I was not working, I was with my kids. When I was not with my kids, I was working. When I was sleeping, I was working. I didn't sleep much those years. So I got into fasting, hoping that I will lose some weight. My friend who was fasting at the time, and his kids are bigger than mine, freaking envy him. He was very lean. He was very fit, and I was like, oh man, I want to look like that. But it didn't come. I fasted for, my daughter was 3, I think, last year. It didn't work. I was like, maybe I'm just old. I'm 40. I have this dad body. I should just accept who I am, whatever. And then a friend suggested me the book by Dr. Fong is called the Obesity Code, where he talks about fasting, something I already do, and then he talked about our let's say our modern diet sucks, and I'm just gonna say it's terrible. We eat so much carbs, we eat so much bread, pasta. You go to the supermarket, the so-called healthy aisle section, it's filled with it's like, what do you call this? Trail mix. It's just sugar. It's like a little bit of nuts, some granola, and tons of sugar. So I was quite addicted to sugar at the time. I had a lot of sugar at home. Yeah, I used to eat this morning breakfast cereal, so tasty, so good. I used to buy an Italian brand. I mean, I had two jobs, so I could spend money on whatever I liked. So we used to buy this Italian cereal for breakfast. It was it didn't have sugar. I think it had honey and apple juice or something. And at the time I thought like, this is kind of healthy. This is okay. I knew that I was eating too much carbs and too much sugar. We used to eat out very often, but I didn't know how bad it was until one day I finished reading this book and it talked about how bad carbs were. But I don't know if I was just not ready to hear it at the time, or I was just in denial about how much sugar and sweets and chocolate and rice, pasta, drinks, sugary drinks, fruit juices I drank, or I didn't believe. I think I kind of didn't believe that carbs were so bad. But what really changed is that we have a summer house, and there was a lot of farm work to do that year. It was 2 years ago. We had to dig some stones because they were building some passages, and the workers left some stones that we had to move from point A to point B. It looked like it was okay, but it was more than 50 or 60 loads of that small cart. It was a lot of stone, and then I had to dig the soil to put that stone in the new passage we wanted to build. It took forever. I thought it was going to take me a weekend. You know how long it took? It took 2 months. Okay, it wasn't every day. It was every weekend, but I was there plowing through the rocks. My wife was also there. And I thought like, look, I'm doing so much exercise. I was probably burning thousands of calories. By the end of it, my back was killing me. But it was a really good workout, so to say. I was sweating like crazy. It was really heavy to move those carts. The carts were really heavy. I used to do weightlifting, so I know that it was heavy. Okay, it was hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. It was probably tons. Maybe 2 tons or 3 tons. I don't know. It was really heavy to move all that rock and the soil. So I thought like, oh, it's cool. I'm already fasting. I'm gonna get in really good shape because I'm already doing exercise. The number one mistake people make is they think that you just gotta, move more. But give you a spoiler alert: a bad diet, you cannot outrun a bad diet. Okay, so 100% true. And that summer, I didn't weigh myself. As it's common, we're scared of the. Oh, my background is a mess. Anyway, you know how it is with children. So I didn't weigh myself that whole summer because, I was optimistic. I was like, this is going to work. It's going to be amazing. And then I weighed myself. I gained weight. Okay, yeah, maybe I got some muscle, but no. I could see my belly was much bigger because I was eating so much crap. Okay, I will finish digging for the whole afternoon, and then I will dig a bag of potato chips. I'll be drinking this soda. It was like pear flavored soda and cherry flavor. It had real fruit juice. It's a little bit like those San Pellegrino they sell. Oh, it was so good. It was an amazing summer, but I gained a lot of weight. That's when I gained the most weight, and I was so frustrated. I was so freaking frustrated. I spent the whole summer, digging the trench. And I'm not going to lie, I did it to impress my parents-in-law. But the main reason I did it is because I wanted to impress people. I wanted them to see like, oh man, look at this guy. He had this huge transformation. I was ready for a huge transformation because I'm not kidding you. It was so much hard work. Some days I was doing it for 5 or 10 hours a day. It was crazy. And that didn't happen. And, I realized like, oh, I think this guy, this Dr. Fung, who talks about, eating low carbohydrate, maybe he has a point. But I was not ready because I love sugar, as many of us do. Sugar is not just the refined sugar. I mean, all kinds of sugar. Bread, pasta, you name it. And then one day I went out to eat with my family. I was fasting, and I bought a couple of chocolates. And I told myself, I bought one white, one dark. I told myself I'm gonna take a bite of each chocolate bar. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do. I'm gonna take one bite off. It's a German chocolate. It's like 4 times 4 squares. So it has 16 squares. I bought 2 of them. So I told myself I'm gonna eat 1 square of the white one and 1 square of the dark one. You wanna know what happened? I was with my kids in the playground. I already had lunch, and I had a huge lunch because I was fasting. I ended up eating the whole chocolate. Well, I ate half of each. So I ate one whole chocolate, 16 squares instead of the 2 squares that I told myself I was going to eat. Do you want to know how I felt? I felt horrible. I was so disappointed at myself. I was devastated. I was so frustrated. I hated myself for I did. I felt terrible. I mean, you eat so much sugar. I was already really full. That's the crazy part. I was so full. I was so down. I felt horrible. But that day, everything changed. I realized that I had an addiction to sugar. Okay, that was the day I finally accepted my condition. And look, some people say that sugar is not an addiction. I don't know. It felt like an addiction for me. So that day, I put the rest of the chocolate in the fridge, and I told my wife one thing. I said, I think I'm addicted to sugar, and she knows my personality. I'm a very stubborn person, for good or for bad. Once I stick to something, I can do it quite consistently. And I told her, I think that I should quit sugar, but maybe I should ease into it. I thought, okay, I'm going to just do it slowly, gradually. What do you think? And she told me one thing. She said, look, I know you for 10 years. And the way that your personality works, you should just quit for good. You should try to quit for good. See what happens. And I was like, oh man, but I just bought those chocolates. Your scumbag brain will tell you anything. So I put those chocolates in the fridge. I told myself, okay, yeah, I'm just, kids will eat them or I'll eat them later. It's the kind of chocolate that only I like. My kids and my wife don't like it. So I felt like, it's a waste. I'm going to finish it tomorrow. Something like that. I'm going to finish it in a week. I'm going to try to quit sugar for a week, see what's going on. So on the next day, we were eating takeout a lot. And I decided that next day that I was not going to eat takeout anymore. I was going to try this tip from Dr. Fung, which is to eat high protein, high fat, low calorie foods. So I ate a lot of salads. I stopped eating all potato, all starches. So no potato, no pasta, no rice, no sweet potato, no beets, no sugar drinks. I still ate a lot of fruit. I ate a lot of salads, a lot of protein, eggs every day, yogurt every day, cottage cheese, meats of all kinds, especially eggs I ate. So it was quite high in fat, lots of nuts. But I decided to quit on all the rest of those carbs that were really terrible. So I embarked on that journey. That was 18 months ago. And I have to say the first week, oh my God, that was when I realized I am so addicted to sugar. So I was angry. I was angry at the world. And mind me, I have children and I have a wife, and they had to deal with me through my sugar withdrawal symptoms. I don't know exactly if I wouldn't say I was craving it because I have a quite strong willpower. I don't know if it's just genetic or, the way I've been, software developers are known to become or be very stubborn. So it wasn't so much as of the crave. It was more of how angry I was. I was angry at the world. I was snapping at everything, anything. But I did quit sugar, and in that week I lost maybe 3 or 4 pounds. Of course, a lot is water weight because carbs retain a lot of water. But I was really happy. I was like, wow, I haven't seen this number so low. I was down to 80 kilos. I don't know how many pounds that is, but and that was really amazing. It was the first time I was going to see 79 in the scale. So that really motivated me. Mind you, my kids were still eating anything that they wanted. My kids actually eat much better now. After I changed my diet, my wife is also eating quite low carb. My kids also changed their diet. But at that time, they were eating out in restaurants. They were ordering, fruit juices. They were ordering pasta, pizza, and I had to feed my kids all that stuff. And it looked amazing. I didn't eat out for 2 months straight. I ate out once for my wife's uncle's birthday. That was Chinese food. Oh, it was good. That changed everything. The moment I realized I was addicted to carbs and I could stop eating them, even though it was painful, that changed everything. The weight loss was so fast. I lost, I think it was 20 pounds in the first month or two. It was so fast that I am afraid of telling people how fast I lost weight. I just say yeah, it was gradual, whatever, but it wasn't. Most of the weight I lost was in this 3 months. I lost almost all the weight. 30 something pounds gone. And I was still sleeping like crap. Stress is really bad for your weight loss. I was sleeping terribly because my daughter, she was small. She was a small child. I didn't have the 2 jobs anymore because I got fired by one, and the other one I kind of quit. But I was still pretty busy. I was still quite busy. I was working on my own project, and it was such a life-changing experience. I lost so much weight, and I was not doing any exercise at the time. I was doing nothing, but I lost so much weight that I realized I looked too skinny. I was shocked, and I didn't want to look skinny. I wanted to look good, and that snowballed into I do a lot of stuff now with my kids. I started going to the monkey bars in the playground, so my kids will be playing the monkey bars. And that's the third tip. I started doing stuff with my kids. They really like to go on their scooters. So I will just run or walk fast behind them. They will go on the monkey bars. I will also go. I started doing 1 pull-up a day, 1 pull-up, and I think I started with 5 push-ups. This is how weak I was. And I thought I'll just I was adding 5 push-ups a day until I got to 200. I stopped that because it was too intense, but I did keep the pull-ups. I still do push-ups. I started doing squats, just playing around, doing stuff while my children were at the playground. And that 1 pull-up turned into 30 pull-ups now. So I do 30 pull-ups now 5 times a week. But this was not my goal. My goal was just to move a little bit more. And now I go hiking a lot. I go rock climbing with my kids. They love it. My kids love skating, so I also do that. And finally, through these 3 habits, I managed to lose this weight and I look the way I look. Could I look better? Oh, well, depends on your definition of better. Could I have that bodybuilder look that people like? I could, but it's just not sustainable for me. I'm quite busy. I try to give my wife as much time as I can. I love cooking. I love cooking for her. She sacrificed a lot when my kids were small and I was working those 2 jobs, and I want to make it up. I want to make it up to her. So I let her sleep every day as much as she wants. I try to cook for her. I try to let her take some breaks to go for a walk, to go to do sports. Of course, she still has a lot to do with the kids. The homeschooling part, the teaching part, it's not in my native language. It's in my wife's native language, so I can't really help that much with that. But I'm still very busy, and I tried to do a weightlifting routine. It didn't work for me because it was just too tiring. It was just mentally too taxing. So I feel that the way I look now, I really like it. I really like the way I look now. And I wish that more parents, more dads, more moms could also fit in their schedule. And maybe I don't look like those internet celebrities who are ripped. They have, millions or hundreds of thousands of raging fans, but I really like how I look. And compared to real people around me, not the people on the internet, compared to real people around me, I look pretty okay. I look better than almost any dad I know around me, which it's a great accomplishment. I'm really really happy where I am. At the same time, I can eat whatever I like. I still fast, as I said. I fast 18 to 22 hours per day. Some days I fast less. Some days I tried longer fasts. My longer fast has been 70 hours. It was it was tough. I was dreaming about hamburgers. The last night I couldn't sleep anything. I have a hard time sleeping in general. I'm not a great sleeper. So that time I fasted for 70 hours. The last day I couldn't sleep. But now it's 36 hours. It's quite manageable. And just this long fast also help a lot. They've made me realize what the body is capable of. And I think this is the coolest part. The other cool thing that it's a great benefit is that you get so much energy. They say it's the body switching from burning glucose to ketones. Yeah, probably true. I don't know. I just feel so energetic in general. I feel great. I think the change in the appearance of my body is also been great. I hate it, to be frank with you. I hated the fact that a lot of people they disrespected me. They told me horrible things when I was fat. Because it was COVID. A lot of people hadn't seen me in a couple of years. I do social dancing. I do salsa dancing, and people hadn't seen me in years. They saw me, and I could see their eyes. Some people were very verbal about it. They were like, "Oh my God, you're so fat," but other people just like their eyes. They were like. And I understood that it was not because they were not nice. It was an involuntary reaction. You know, it was really not their fault. I realized at that time that it's not their fault that they see me like that. But I am a people's person. I really love to be around people, and I didn't want to have that image. Now, did I think I would be able to achieve what I did? I didn't, to be honest. Okay, I didn't. I didn't think it was possible at all, because I look better now than I have ever looked. Before I had kids, before I married, when I was weightlifting, when I was taking care of my diet, I never ever looked this good before. So this has been an amazing journey. If I can tell you something that helped me a lot, is that you have to choose your heart. Okay, I can't say it was easy. It was really simple. It was extremely simple. Don't eat and stop eating carbs. Cook at home, stop eating carbs. It was simple, but it wasn't easy. But I knew I had a choice. Either I make it hard now and then live an easy life later, or make it easy now, keep eating as I'm eating, and my life is going to be hard later. It was already pretty hard. So I chose hard now. I did hard for 1 year, and then it became easier. Now I eat pretty much whatever I like. I can go, I can eat cake, I can eat sweets, I can eat pizza. I pretty much eat whatever I want a couple times a week. And usually I pair it with a longer fast. That's why I'm doing a longer fast, because I went to eat Thai food with friends. I was not planning to eat out, but the food looked amazing. And then I went home and I ate a little bit of sweets that we had. Nothing too bad. We don't buy terrible sweets, but it's still a lot of sugar. And that day I decided, okay, I'm going to do a 36-hour fast. And I'm pretty much back into my best condition. So if you're a dad, if you're a mom, you're busy, I know that you can do it. I did it, and it was against all odds. My wife is now doing it against all odds. She's down almost 15 pounds. It's pretty great. And I invite you to try. If you have any difficulties, you can just leave me a comment. And I'm here to root for you. Okay. The best thing I learned from this process, from being a parent, from losing weight, is that I'm not here to judge people. I realize judging people is really not productive. It's not constructive for that person or for me. Because a lot of people judge me when I was overweight. I was stressed. I was working 2 jobs, but they had no clue of my life conditions. And I don't know how your life is right now. What I can tell you is that you can do it. I did it. You can do it. No judgment from me. I only want to give you the positive ideas that you can do it, but it's gonna be tough love. You know David Goggins. Some people say he's crazy. I think he's very positive about life. He just likes to give tough love. And at that time, I read Goggins' books, and it gave me the push I needed to realize that nobody's gonna come help me. The solution, I gotta first want to help myself, and then I can go find the help that I want to get.